Lending and borrowing on Cardano is coming to fruition, and we're seeing more and more of these protocols coming out, and AADA Finance is one of them. If you've ever used Aave, it is very similar to that, but built on Cardano and using NFT bonds as well. It's a really cool and interesting concept. I didn't understand the mechanics behind it, but Mantas joins me to talk all about it and how that actually works, how you can participate in their ecosystem and possibly take out DeFi loans in the future and or provide loan lending to the platform too. Now, if you like this type of content, please give me that thumbs up, click subscribe, notification bell. It really helps with the YouTube algos, and you'll hear more Cardano related content from me soon. Let's get into this.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
I have Mantas joining me on this episode from AADA Finance, and he's going to talk about the protocol, the lending platform that they're building out on Cardano, and we're going to find out all about it, exactly how it works, and some of these really cool features that I really like about it. Mantas, welcome to the podcast.
Pleasure to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into crypto and how you found Cardano?
Yeah. So I got into crypto in 2016. Generally, I was hired by one company who was building a project on Ethereum back then. And I supposed to manage their resources there to outsource the marketing and developers. Like, because I was working in the Upwork platform, I was working there, and like I had connections, and I was easygoing and finding the resources to do some of the stuff, like the freelancing and so on. So they hired me to do some of the stuff, and then I learned about blockchain itself. And it kind of really hit me back then, like, wow, blockchain, like it actually was very, how to say, the blockchain, the technology itself I think is very, very exciting. It gives me a lot of excitement. And so I liked working there, even though like this project have ended very soon. I think at the end, they didn't even pay me for working there. But after that, I started to get deeper into the blockchain itself, and I think the biggest step was the DeFi summer. Then when all the DeFi projects kind of started to emerge on Ethereum, and it was really, really interesting, and seeing all these liquidity farmings and all the stuff that you can do, and you can combine finances and decentralized world of blockchain, and it hit me. And back from there, I started just staking, liquidity mining, and using one of the different protocols on Ethereum mostly. And after that, we decided that we can do something ourselves because of the multiple reasons. Like we have decided back then, and we are here right now. After 9 months of working, we are sitting here.
It was a really interesting time to have all those DeFi protocols launch on Ethereum. I completely missed it, but then when I jumped back in and learned that all these really weird things have happened, like such as yield farming and all these brand new concepts, it's just amazing to see that space evolve over the years and now actually come to Cardano as well. So I'm really interested in how and watching the space grow. So can you give us a little bit of an introduction into AADA and what you guys are trying to build?
I think in the simplest terms, AADA is the Aave on Cardano. That's what we tried to tell people. Okay, we are Aave, the lending protocol on Ethereum, but we are building on Cardano. So that was our initial pitch. But after that, it kind of expanded a lot, and we have shifted and have pivoted some of our features. So we are kind of different now. In essence, AADA Finance is decentralized lending, where can be two user types. One user is lending and providing liquidity, and in returns they are making an interests, and those interests are paid by the user group number 2, who are borrowers. Borrowers can borrow an assets by providing collateral, and in exchange for holding the loan, they are paying interests back for the lenders. So those are two user groups that can manage their finances on our platform. Yeah, and I think what's uniquely that we are using it. Our protocol is a little different because we are using NFT bonds, And we are kind of very proud of those NFT bonds because it's a pretty unique feature. We can go deeper into it.
Yeah, when I was going through the white paper and trying to understand the project more, these NFT bonds are very, very interesting. And I love how they can be utilized and moved around. Can you explain to everyone that unique feature? I absolutely love this part.
Yeah. So if you would look into other projects, for example, on Cardano, we also have Meldo, also we have Liquid. On Ethereum, we have AADA, for example. What happens when you provide a liquidity into protocol as a lender? In exchange, you're getting AA tokens. Those AA tokens is a right to claim the same amount of the tokens. For example, you can get AADA. Oh, it sounds weird. AA ETH, for example. And you can exchange this AA ETH into ETH on our platform. And the thing is, this AA tokens, they are accumulating over time. So more time your deposit is earning money, more AA tokens you have in your wallet. The thing on Cardano, it's kind of hard to get those AA tokens because on Cardano, nothing happens without a transaction, which means, okay, if you would have those AA tokens, they have to be somewhere. They might be on the smart contract, they might be on our wallet, but they cannot be on your wallet because on your wallet, the amount must be fixed unless someone will keep sending, some custom tokens every minute, every day, or so on. So what is pretty unique, and I think what's very important part is we have NFT bonds. It's much easier to use NFT bonds on Cardano because Cardano have native tokens, right? There is so many NFTs on Cardano. There are so many tokens, and you can simply come and mint tokens as just writing, whether it's just interacting with a node and mint the tokens, pay for the transactions, and you have a tokens. And those tokens are floating on Cardano without any smart contracts. For comparison, on Ethereum, you have to create smart contract in order to have tokens. In order to have any custom tokens, you must have a smart contract. Smart contract have some other functions and so on. On Cardano, you can simply mint them and they are there. Like they can float from one wallet to other wallet and so on and so on. So the thing is that the minting fees are very cheap. The other thing is these NFTs, they can actually hold the value. And these NFTs, they can be used as keys. So what we are using, NFT bonds for us, they are the ownership of an assets that are deposited into our platform. For example, when you as a lender, you come and deposit, let's say 500 ADA into the platform, you are getting NFT. And that NFT is a proof of the ownership of 500 ADA plus the interests. So anyone holding this NFT can claim this deposit that you made. You can transfer this NFT to any other person, or you can even sell it. And any holder will take back the loan plus the interests. The same thing happens for the borrower. But for the borrower, this NFT also will declare that you have to provide a loan back in order to take a deposit. So if you took a loan, you deposited 500, but took a loan of $300, a stable coin, you need to provide 300 stablecoin dollars back in order to take back your deposit.
And I absolutely love that flexibility of it. So I just want to get this clear. So you mentioned the words key to the assets collateral in the pool.
This is a key and ownership of your assets as a deposit. Your deposit is stored in the pool. And it's more or less it's a smart contract. Like smart contract is a wallet with some other validations. But this smart contract have UTXOs, and one of those UTXOs, like this UTXO, is exactly let's say this is your interest rate collection UTXO, and that UTXO have the other part of the key. This is how it works. Like you get an NFT bond, it's like from the games. You could get one part of the key and the other part of the key, and you connect them. You can actually do something.
Gotcha.
So this is exactly. Yeah, so these mirror NFTs are actually a pointer, a vector saying this is the UTXO that anyone holding this NFT, providing this NFT and burning, they can claim this exact UTXO. And this UTXO is used to collect the interest rates.
So I didn't understand how that NFT would match up to a value within the pool. So now you've explained that. That makes a little bit more better sense. Hopefully the listeners understood that as well. Also love the idea of being able to sell it to someone else. So if I need the liquidity quickly, I could sell that NFT bond on a marketplace maybe? Could I do that?
Yeah. So in essence, NFT bonds are more or less a very new thing that we haven't seen anywhere else. And this NFT bond is security. We don't love this word, but it is security. This NFT bond represents a value securitized in some other protocol. So the easiest way, if you made a deposit of ADA and you want to get your ADA back, the easiest and the fastest way and the cheapest way will be simply to claim back your deposit by providing NFT, right? Yeah, you can get it in the simplest way. But let's assume you are the borrower, you're the person who made a loan. For example, you provided a $500 in ADA and you took a loan of $300 in stablecoin, and you have $300 and you spend them. Like, you don't have any more $300, but what you have in your wallet, you have NFT that is representing the sum of the deposit of 500 in ADA, right? But you cannot claim because you cannot pay back the stablecoin you have loaned. So what you could actually do, you could actually sell this NFT bond to anyone else who have $300 in stablecoin, and they can claim your deposit, right? Why they should do so? You would have to keep the lower price, for example, for lower price. So they would profit from using your NFT. And the other thing is, you don't have any other options, because let's assume you cannot get your $300 from anywhere else, and you simply are locked. Your assets are locked, and no one can claim them.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. So let's say I took out that loan, took out 300 ADA worth of ADA, spent it all on shiny JPEGs, other NFTs. They're worthless. So now I have to sell my bond back for a lower price so that someone could reclaim it on the protocol and to make a little bit of profit on top.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That makes perfect sense. So would you need like a marketplace? Are you building a marketplace for this as well to facilitate this?
There's one thing I haven't mentioned. When you have an NFT bond, when you took a loan and have an NFT bond in your wallet, you actually took the loan out. For example, what happens on AADA on Ethereum, when you take the loan back, you have a health score. This score is saying, okay, you have some assets, but you provided a deposit, and deposit is really healthy, so you could keep your loan. But if market conditions changes, the price of your deposit is going down. For example, you made a deposit in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is going down heavily. And so your health score is actually decreasing. And at some point, at some threshold, your loan have to be liquidated. And your loan is liquidated, which means, okay, you had a loan just a couple of seconds ago, and you don't have the loan anymore, which means you cannot get back your deposit because it was sold to cover the losses. You have the loan in your wallet because no one can take anything out of your wallet, but your loan, your deposit is liquidated, or this loan as a term between your assets you are holding and the assets that are locked, it's liquidated. So the NFT bonds, they have the same thing. They must be liquidated. And let's assume on Cardano that you took the loan out and you have an NFT bond. You have it in your wallet, and no one can change anything in your wallet. So it would look like, okay, you have an NFT bond, there is a loan, probably there is some assets locked and I could claim them, but it could be not true. If the loan is liquidated, the loan is a relationship between the assets, you wouldn't be able to claim your deposit. So this liquidation, it's really a long and rough process, and it's very complex process of liquidating the loans. And only when you're interacting with a smart contract, you can know whether your loan is liquidated or not. So that's what gives us, and we have the code. We know whether your loan was liquidated. We know what value your loan have. We also know what interest, how many interests it have collected, and what actual value it is. So it also gives us, the edge of having the marketplace, the place where someone, let's say, who bought the expensive JPEGs that are worth nothing and they can get back their deposit. We have the place where we could actually sell this thing because we know all the information about this NFT bond. So it gives us an opportunity to create this marketplace that we can leverage on as well.
So I just want to jump back there a little bit. So the liquidation of the loan, the price changing of the asset would liquidate it. Is that correct?
Yeah, if price changes.
So with crypto markets, they're very volatile. So the chances are that something like this would possibly trigger a liquidation of the loan. What can users do to mitigate that risk of having their loan liquidated?
Yeah, the users have to keep their health score healthy, and they have to do so. They have to regenerate the loan over again. So they have to provide an NFT bond. They have to provide the loan, and they have also to add more as a deposit, which means like, okay, I let's say I don't want to be liquidated, and I want to add more assets into my deposit. So you have to refinance your loan. Like we should use this loan as a relationship between the money that are locked and the money that you have in your wallet, and the NFT bond that is like showing the proof of ownership. So you have to refinance your loan and mint new NFT bond in your wallet. That's how you can put your loan health factor higher.
Right, gotcha. Because I'm really excited about the DeFi loans in general. So I've got all these crypto assets. I have no way of really spending it in the real world without incurring a lot of tax, like selling the ADA or whatever. So having these DeFi loans is really important. But managing that risk of being liquidated is very important, especially with the fluctuating price markets. So I'd have to refinance my loan on the platform as those prices fluctuate. So I'm assuming you have a dashboard where users, or eventually you'll have a dashboard where users can view this and get alerts or notifications of how and when they should be refinancing, and either providing more liquidity to the loan, collateral, or managing it, whatever they need to do. Is that right?
Yeah. We are working on the solution for like to get a message that your loan is, let's say, doing bad. You have to subscribe for it. You simply have to say, okay, this is NFT bond. This is NFT bond ID I just took, and we know. And this is my, let's say, email, or no one wants to give an email, but this is the contact that you can reach out to me, like Telegram or any other handle. And we are using the bot to send them messages before when the health factor is getting down, and that your liquidation could happen in the short future. So please do something in order not to get liquidated.
So something you have to keep an eye on, and yeah, those notifications would be absolutely fantastic on the platform to keep an eye on those things. So we know and understand how the borrower would interact with the platform and take a loan out. What about people providing loans to the platform?
So providing the loan is easier process of taking the loan, because when you provide the loan, you actually make a deposit, and you get the same NFT bond into your wallet saying this is the right to claim the deposit plus the interests. So at the end, what you have the NFT bond, and coming on the platform, checking what's the balance of the balance of your deposit, how much of the interest that you made. It's a very safe option. You're not going to get liquidated because you didn't take any of the assets. You don't own any of the value. So it is the easier process than the borrower one.
How does the interest part work? So I'm imagining someone that's really good at managing their assets, someone that's borrowing and then paying back their loan and paying the interest. Do they have to pay back on regular intervals so that people that are providing the loan will get the interest? How does that aspect work? Because basically the way I see it, I'll take out a loan, I'll have all this USDT or whatever, and then I'll just make a run. Like, how do you force people to pay back the loan other than getting liquidated? And how does that interest payments flow onto the people providing liquidity or providing the loaned assets?
Yeah. You mentioned both of the things. You have to provide collateral, and your interest rates are paid from your collateral. So at the end, what your loan have is a healthy rate. And let's assume you just provide a loan. You provide a deposit of the stablecoin and take the loan in the stablecoin, like 80% of the value to loan, 80% of what you have actually locked. So what you're paying interest rates from the assets you have deposited, and your health factor is getting lower and lower over time because we are taking money from your deposit. So you are taking money, you are paying with your deposit. The thing is, this payment, they have to be exchanged, because if you took the loan in USDT and provided the deposit in USDC, USDC must be exchanged into USDT in order to pay back the depositors, the lenders. So they are exchanged and paid back from the collateral.
Gotcha. Understood. So what happens if I provide collateral as AADA, for example, and could that AADA be staked and earn AADA rewards and have part of that pay off interest on the loan?
So I think this might be the future, because on Cardano there are contracts with the three purposes. One purpose is minting, other purpose is spending, and the third purpose is staking. Right now, there is not that much of the knowledge about the staking and how the staking could be used. There's a lot of projects that are doing minting and spending. Spending is simply spending from the smart contract. Minting is minting new, let's say, LP tokens. This is what the SundaeSwap is doing, or this is what the NFT bonds are going to be. The staking is more of the not a secret, but the mystery at the moment. And we are not fully aware like what's going to happen there, and we don't have this technical knowledge. Theoretically, it would be a perfect situation when we could actually, employ the assets, employ the capital in order to make the returns, instead of simply having there and no one is using it. So staking the AADA that we do have on our protocol sounds like an obvious option, but I cannot say whether it's possible in the short future.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, fingers crossed someone, you work it out and then we can go down that path. It sounds quite interesting if we can. So are there any other ways you can earn from the platform? So we're providing liquidity and a loan. Is there anything else that users can do on the platform to actually earn something?
Yeah, so there's one thing, AADA tokens, our native tokens that we have issued. These tokens, they aren't, only the governments, we at DAO, our token holders they will be voting for some of the platform changes, but also those tokens are very important in order to have a platform safety. So on our platform, you will be able to stake AADA tokens, and those staked tokens, they will provide assurance that, for example, if some loans haven't been liquidated at a time, and there are some losses happened, like, you had to, let's say you took the loan of $300 and your loan had to be liquidated on $450 because your deposit was $500, but it was liquidated at $475, and there is a $25 loss. This loss will be covered from the safety model, and this safety model is a pool of AADA staked tokens in our platform. In exchange for staking our tokens on our platform, you are getting rewards in our tokens as well. So you are taking the risk of staking the tokens. The rewards are you're getting paid in the tokens.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's another way that you can earn something of it. I didn't realize that those potential pitfalls of liquidating and then having that safety measure with the tokens as well. So that's a good addition there.
Yeah, I think I would add it's more or less more safe than what we are used to, because in essence, using Cardano it feels it's a safer way because everything is very deterministic rather than on the Ethereum. When something could happen and you're like developers not even sure if it could happen, but sometimes things happens, then this safety model will be used for smart contract issues or protocol hacks, or when some leakages happen and a lot of value is lost. And this, we don't see it happening on Cardano. At least we hope it's not going to happen, but we are very early.
Yes, indeed, we are early. It's a really interesting concept, that safety measure that you're putting in, because like you said, Ethereum doesn't have anything like that. So, and you mentioned if the protocol gets hacked in the future, having that safety measure there and compensating, it's essentially compensating the user.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. Very cool. So in terms of providing liquidity, of course, Cardano native assets, but is there anything looking into the future in regards to providing collateral as in ETH or BTC or any other crypto altcoins or assets?
Yeah. So in essence, there is two components. One is the smart contract, right? The smart contract of our protocol, and the other part is the user interface. Let's say it's at the page. So the smart contract is not controlled by us. Smart contract, can many things happen, but the code is there. It does the validations, and any transaction can be generated using the smart contract UTXOs, for example. Into smart contract, for example, you could add any of the assets. You could add any of the liquid and illiquid assets that are Cardano native. But on the front end, on the user interface, we are managing what assets will be displayed and what assets will be used on our platform. And we need to do so because not all of the assets are liquid and not all of the assets have the price stability. For example, if you would take some of the assets that are on the SundaeSwap and they don't have a lot of value locked, or they don't have much of the volume, and someone selling 5,000 of the assets, or even 50,000 or so, they could put price very low instantly. There will be a lot of liquidations and there will be a lot of loss for our safety model, as well for the users who took the loan using any part of these assets. So that's why we need to manage the list of the pools that we have there. And to give an example, if we have ETH, Cardano native ETH, if the ERC converter is working from Cardano, right, and we have those assets on Cardano, they are very healthy. They do have a lot of value. They have good liquidity and so on, and they are healthy assets to use, and we can use them on our platform. So those assets that we're going to use, they must pass some of the criteria, because otherwise everyone will be in loss. So I would say, that if you would ask me about a list, some very liquid assets, AADA is the number one, and the other top assets on Cardano would be in the list, and of course the stable coin.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So that's a very interesting point that you brought up. I didn't think of that. Someone else bringing out some random token, they own 90% of it. They sell and they could liquidate everyone and break all these loans. Very good point. Now, in terms of development of your protocol, how far along are you guys in developing things, and who's actually on your team? So you've got yourself, and who else is developing with you?
Yeah, so I would start from, we have Thomas and Aidas, and they are the smart contract developers. They are writing the Haskell, and mostly the Haskell. The other devs, me including, I'm between the user interface and the smart contract. So there is this area that is in general called PAB, Bluetooth Application Backend, even though we are not using it. But someone had to generate transactions, consume something from the smart contract, and send some things to someone else, and so on and so on. So there is a lot of work happening there, and there is a cool, great labs updating every day. Cardano serialization lab developed by Emorgo, and so on. So they are handling that. Okay, when you click the button, something happens, and something is presented from the NAMI, right? You can simply sign and submit the transaction. That's very easy. And yeah, so we have 3 devs, and we have one front end who is outsourcing. We outsourcing the front end, and also like me, and there are 2 devs as well. So in essence, there are 6 developers. One of them is a part-time, and also we do have a cool marketing team behind those doors, and like they are just making a noise and everywhere, and they are helping us a lot as well. So it's a team of 8, and I see it only growing, maybe adding 1 more developer. And so far we are really like good at building stuff, because this is what excites us. Like we just simply love to write things that people use after. So we have launched one smart contract last week that are helping to swap the tokens, one token to another token. We are launching the other smart contract in the next 2 weeks. And today we are even launching a new feature as well, where we are generating multi-signature transactions as well. So we feel like, okay, we are in the right spot. Regarding the roadmap, there are many things we are dependent on. For example, one of very important thing is the Oracle. There is a chain link, there is a Charlie on Cardano. The Oracle, or the price feed, who is saying, okay, this is the price of the assets. This is very important when we speak about the loans, when we speak about the liquidations, and someone would ask, okay, you liquidated my loan not on the right time. We don't want to be the ones who say, okay, we just thought the price, this is what CoinMarketCap was showing, and we took the price and we thought it's okay. We don't want to be on this spot. We want to use the values that are on chain, that are correct, and that they are on trustless environment. The other thing is the price aggregation as well. Like I mentioned this already about a liquidity of the assets. If there are not that many of the assets on Cardano, we cannot provide the loans on anything. We can provide them, but they would be very costly, and the health factor would be very unstable, and just small movement would force us to liquidate the loan. So we are not there yet, right? If you would look into SundaeSwap, there is like a couple tens of millions of ADA locked at the moment. So we need the liquid markets. We need to have this ecosystem. We very much need Oracle, and we don't need it only for the price feed. We also need it for the time. Like smart contract doesn't know what time it is. That sounds real weird. Like someone have to say what time it is, and someone reliable have to say what the time is. It could be us. Like we could sign any of the transactions and assume we are the oracles, but we don't want to be the single point of failure that might fail. So yeah, to give a time, like we plan to launch on the Q3 of this year. And if we will not have the oracles, if we will not have the price feed and let's say the time and other oracle extensions, we will be the oracles, at least for the testnet. We won't be for the mainnet, the real assets, but at least, we want to launch our platform and that people can use it. But we will need some extra external components so we could launch on the mainnet.
Okay. First off, congratulations for finishing your first smart contract and launching that one. So congratulations on that. I didn't realize you were, probably not just you, but a lot of projects are relying on those oracles to get that price data and the information wherever they're pulling the data from, such as SundaeSwap or MinSwap, whenever they launch as well, to provide to you so that you know exactly what the price is. Didn't realize that was a really key thing. And you also mentioned a time factor as well. Is this a third-party time mechanism that you rely on as well, like literally like a system time clock on the blockchain?
We have a system time clock on the blockchain. We have seconds, and they are called slots. But those slots at current day, like one slot equals 1 second. But with Cardano scaling and new features opening, and this is what IOG is saying, don't use slots for the seconds because they will eventually change in the future. So we cannot use slots as a time values, and so I would say like we cannot use slots. The other thing is someone have to provide the time through let's say from the redeemer saying, okay, today is the Friday, and so, like someone have to add this value. And as I said, like it could be us, but we could add any of the values and we can simply hack the time, however cool it sounds. So time is I suppose, very important factor for the oracles. And the price feed is the second one, but the price feed is very dependent on the markets and the assets, and it's much more deeper than the time. And I would say start with the time if you want to build oracles.
Wow. Okay.
As we will do it.
I had no idea time was such a complicated thing to program into smart contracts. Who would have known? Learn something new. That's great. Is there any projects actually working on that? A time oracle?
I don't know. We just have recently a meeting with Charlie, and we have presented them with our business requirement docs, like this is what problems we have, and this is what you could solve with the Oracle system. And yeah, so they are still in the developing mode. But yeah, time is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Very interesting indeed. Now, what about audits of your code or anything like that? Have you partnered up with someone to audit your smart contracts along the way, or is that yet to come still?
Yeah, it is yet to come. Right now, like we are in this whole builders community that are on IOG, the technical Discord channel, and I think on Haskell, if you compile some code, it is working, and if you manage to write the code that have to do some of the certain things, it will do those certain things, nothing else. So, but at the end, when there are assets in question, and there are some value and the capital in questions, you have to be audited for something that you definitely doesn't know. Right now, there are the companies we haven't connected them about the audits, but we know they are doing it. Like there is, I could say, there is an M Labs, there is if I pronounce it right, Canicoli, and they are really cool guys who are helping with the smart contract development. Okay,
great. Okay, well, you have some contacts at least to be able to reach out to get those things done. I'm assuming they'll come later on before you launch anyway, to finalize those bits and pieces. Have you formed any partnerships with anyone else in the Cardano ecosystem at the moment? Because you mentioned that you're speaking to Charlie. Have you formed any partnerships with other protocols or anything else?
Yeah, we did. We did form some of the partnerships. To be honest, we didn't pay much attention to the partnerships, and it's kind of backslashing us now. Like we feel like, okay, we don't have that much friends right now. We don't have this farm icon in SandySwap. That's on us. But in other terms, like we've been focusing on the other things. And yeah, regarding the partnerships, we are going to announce some of the partnerships very soon. The major ones, also we've been into discussion already 3 months ago with Chainlink, the Oracle Chainlink, because they've been actually in search to find the projects on Cardano. It's not really sure like how they are going to work using Milkmeda, or like what way of the Oracle they are going to be on Cardano, as well as with some of the wallets. We have the partnerships with them as well.
Okay, great. Okay, that's really good to hear that you're reaching out to other parts of the community to start integrating the platform and getting the name out there a little bit more.
Yeah. Now we see the point of the partnership. Like, okay, the community of the other project can learn about your project, right? Like that's the point. Okay, we have Charlie. There is a community in Charlie. And okay, this is the project that might use their Oracle system and like pay for the fees and do and actually use the product. Let's learn about AADA, right? Like what they are doing. Okay, they are doing like using NFT bonds. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, AADA have the partnership with something X. Okay, I will search about them. Okay, maybe they are not that interesting. I won't stay in their Telegram and so on. So yeah, we find the value in those partnerships.
I find it kind of also builds trust as well. So if for some reason you formed a partnership with maybe like World Mobile, and World Mobile is very well known in the Cardano ecosystem, and then suddenly people go, oh wow, well if World Mobile is working with you guys, then it means something. They've investigated you guys, they know you're trustworthy, etc., etc. So it's worth working with you guys. So those partnerships are very key. So in terms of funding the project, you guys had a ISPO that's been going on for a little while. Can you talk a little bit about that? And when is that actually ending? How long are you running it for?
Yeah. So for the funding, we started the ISPO probably in September last year. And initially we thought, okay, we are going to distribute 12 million of AADA tokens to the holders, or otherwise we are going to end it on February. But it happens we didn't distribute that much of the tokens, and right now we distributed 3 million or so. And we decided that we are going to distribute 4 million of tokens. And this is then the ISPO is going to end. So only 4 million of the tokens, there is no date when we are going to end our ISPO. So that's the only chance to get the tokens is to participate on ISPO.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're at 3 million distributed at the moment, and so just 1 million left. So we have to delegate to the staple. What's the ticker of it called?
ISPO.
Good ticker. Easy to look up.
Yeah.
So users would have to look that up in whatever wallet they're using, delegate their ADA to it. Now, is this one of those ISPOs where you take all of the ADA rewards? Is that correct? Because you're using it for funding?
Yeah. We are taking all the rewards on the ISPO. We use that for the funding.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Also, you could find our tokens on SundaeSwap. We are traded on DEX as well. And the last thing we will do is airdrop. Hopefully we will do the airdrop with the drip drops if everything goes successfully. So you will get a small portion of the tokens as well, because token holders is the best marketing tool you could get on crypto, right? Yeah,
free tokens. Oh, what do I do with this? Provide liquidity, use it in the protocol, etc., etc. So getting your tokens out there is key. Now, I'm assuming though, the drip drops token distribution will be far less than what you would get if you're staking in the ISPO. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. It's fixed amount. I suppose it's 25 AADA tokens per wallet, with some of the criteria that you have to pass, but only this small fraction of the tokens simply to get more holders, because having the more holders it already means more users in the future, as well as I said, it means more people who are on your Telegram channel and gives you the feedback as well.
Okay, great. That's really cool. I will put the links to all of that in regards to how you can participate in the ISPO and hopefully get that last million of the AADA tokens out. So how can people find out more about the project, learn more about everything that you guys have to offer, and actually engage with your community?
Yeah, the most active place we are in is a Telegram. I will share the link into Telegram. We are really engaging on the Telegram. Actually, we sitting here, people here are using the Telegram to answer the questions, as well as myself and anyone else. The other place is our website, and it's going to include very similar social medias like a Twitter, like a Medium. We have them as well. But Telegram is the place actually where you could find the most about the projects. You would find most of the links and more of the resources. The other part, as I said, is a website, AADA.finance. You could find our app there that with the smart contracts, you could find our page, you could find our white paper and the light paper there too. So those are the links that I would recommend.
So I'll get all those links that you mentioned and I'll put it into the show notes and description, make sure everyone gets the right ones. And thank you so much, Mantas, for joining me on the episode and talking all about AADA and explain to us exactly how the platform works and the type of future we are looking forward to.
Yeah, it's truly a pleasure, really a pleasure to be speaking here and to be sharing. I'm really thankful for you for doing this, literally, and probably all of your listeners for listening to you, because you're doing this because of your listeners. So I'm very happy to be here.
Now they're on the tail end of their ISPO at the moment, so you can delegate to their pool, ISPO, and earn some of those last AADA tokens. So check that out. All the links are in the show notes for you as well. If you like this type of content, please consider giving me that thumbs up, click subscribe, notification bell, and you hear more from me real soon.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.